Running rings around the world. Israel's colonial expansion in occupied East Jerusalem. Since the Israeli occupation of 1967, successive Israeli governments in cooperation with Israeli settler organizations have actively intensified a process of colonization all over the occupied West Bank. In 1993, when the Oslo Interim Agreement was signed, the number of Israeli settlers was around 198,000. Today, the number is more than 544,000. Without any legal, diplomatic, or political consequences, Israel has been allowed to aggressively pursue its illegal colonization enterprise all over the occupied West Bank, specifically in and around occupied East Jerusalem. Israel's colonial activity in the Holy City has increased under recent Israeli governments, particularly under Netanyahu's mandate. Annexing the Old City to Israel is part of Israel's colonial enterprise that aims at maximizing territorial contiguity for illegal colonies with as little of the Palestinian population as possible within Jerusalem's boundaries. This unilateral and illegal act of annexation is being conducted by the Israeli Jerusalem municipality in coordination with groups of radical settlers, using several excuses to justify their plans, such plans as private property, archaeology, military purposes. So Israel has been creating three main rings of colonial settlements. The first ring is set to fragment the old city of occupied East Jerusalem and its adjacent Palestinian neighborhoods. For the expansion of the Jewish quarter inside the old city of Jerusalem, Israeli settlers took several Palestinian houses in the Christian, Armenian, and Muslim quarters. And besides the demolition of the Mughrabi quarter, Israel plans to build new settlements in both Burj al-Laqlaq and Umar ibn al-Khattab Square. And outside the old city of Jerusalem, Israel's colonial activity is spread throughout Sheikh Jarrah, Wadi al-Jawz, Ras al-Amud, Silwan, and Mount of Olives. The second ring is set to isolate the surrounding neighborhoods of occupied East Jerusalem from the Old City. These settlements include Ramat Eshkol, French Hill, Kidmat Zion, and East Taliput. The third ring of colonial settlements is set to seal the whole of occupied East Jerusalem from the rest of occupied state of Palestine. These settlements include Bisgat Ze'ev, Nevi Yaakov, Givat Ze'ev, Ramot, Ma'ali Adumim, Har Homa, Givat Hamatos, Gilo, and Har Gilo. This presentation describes the first ring of colonial settlements. It focuses on the settlements built throughout the Palestinian neighborhood surrounding the old city of Jerusalem and also highlights the new facts on the ground Israel is trying to establish in the occupied Palestinian capital. This ring includes the following major areas. In Sheikh Jarrah, including Ma'alot Dafna settlement, Israel constructed the Israeli Occupation Border Police Headquarters and the Israeli Occupation Police Headquarters, in addition to the offices of the Israeli Ministry of Housing and an Israeli military court. Over the past few years, Israeli settler organizations have evicted 4 Palestinian families from their homes in Sheikh Jarrah. Another 28 families are still being threatened with eviction orders that are currently being processed by Israeli courts. The plan is to replace the Palestinian families with a new Israeli settlement called Shimon HaTzedek. In 2011, Israel demolished the Shepherd Hotel to facilitate the construction of yet another new major Israeli colonial settlement in the heart of this Palestinian neighborhood. In Wadi al-Jawz, Israel has constructed a building used by the Israeli Ministry of Interior for East Jerusalem ID holders. It's close to the Shepherd Hotel and the French Hill settlement, both located on Jabal al-Masharif, Mount Scopus, and expanded mainly over land belonging to Sheikh Jarrah and Al-Aisawiyah. In Ras al-Amud, Ma'ali Hazitim settlement, widely advertised in Israeli newspapers, was constructed in the heart of one of the most densely populated areas of East Jerusalem. It hosts approximately 250 settlers. The settlers were also granted access to the old Israeli police headquarters located across the street to build the settlement of Ma'ale David. The plan prompted by the settler organization Al-Ad calls for the construction of 104 settlement units along with a swimming pool, library, synagogue, and parking spaces. Silwan. Construction in Silwan is linked to Israel's colonial plans and excavation works inside the old city of Jerusalem. It's one of the main targets of Israeli settler organizations that have primarily used the pretext of an archaeological site in the area, the so-called City of David, to seize the land. Over the past few years, Israeli settler groups have occupied Palestinian homes in Silwan as well as demolishing others. The King's Garden is one of the most dangerous plans in East Jerusalem. It involves the demolition of many Palestinian homes in Al-Bustan neighborhood of Silwan. At least 88 Palestinian houses are slated for demolition during the first phase, which would result in the forced displacement of around 500 Palestinians. Mount of Olives, At-Tur. Israel plans to build a military academy near the Augusta Victoria Hospital. In addition, Israel has endorsed the construction of 24 additional settlement units in the Beit Orod settlement, also near the Augusta Victoria Hospital, where they have established a Zionist yeshiva. Additionally, Israeli settler groups have occupied several Palestinian homes in At-Tur, transforming them into more Israeli colonial settlements. The ongoing ethnic cleansing of the Palestinian population in East Jerusalem has been aggressively pushed by Israel to turn it into an exclusively Jewish city. The UN Fact-Finding Mission report on Israeli settlement activity, released on January 31st, stated that the establishment of the settlements in the West Bank, including East Jerusalem, is mesh of construction and infrastructure leading to a creeping annexation that prevents the establishment of a contiguous and viable Palestinian state and undermines the right of the Palestinian people to self-determination. The international community has the legal responsibility to hold Israel accountable. Otherwise, Israel will have no incentive to end its 46 years old colonial occupation and oppression of the people of Palestine. This culture of impunity allows Israel to effectively remain above the law, to run rings around East Jerusalem, the state of Palestine, and the international community as a whole. And if it's not brought to an end, it's apartheid, not peace.